Comparing the presidents of the United States. Okay, this will be the last video about US presidents for a while. There will be a full update of what I've been up to at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Here are some fun facts comparing the presidents of the United States of America. The first president to be born, of course, was the first president, George Washington, in 1732. He was also the first to die, after he'd left office, of course, and the only president to die within the 18th century, dying in 1799. Martin Van Buren was the first president to have been born in the United States of America. All previous presidents and one after were born as British subjects. William Henry Harrison was the last to be born as a British subject before the Revolution. Millard Fillmore was the first president to be born in the 19th century. James Buchanan was the last to be born in the 18th century. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the last to be born in the 19th century, and John F. Kennedy was the first elected to be born in the 20th century, though Lyndon B. Johnson was born before him. All going well, 2036 will be the first presidential election where someone born in the 21st century will be eligible. Virginia has had 8 presidents born there, Ohio has had 7, New York has had 5, Massachusetts 4, North Carolina 2, Texas 2, Vermont 2, and United 0. Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania have all had 1. South Carolina has had 1 if you count Andrew Jackson, but his birthplace is a little blurry along the North-South Carolina border. These are the states that haven't yet had presidents. 1946 produced the most presidents. That's the baby boomers for you. New York has had 9 presidents die there. DC has had 7, Virginia has had 4, California and Tennessee have had 3 each, New Jersey, Texas and Massachusetts have had 2, Missouri, Georgia, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania and New Hampshire have had 1. The average life expectancy of a president is about 64, but many have lived well beyond this. 8 presidents have died in office, 4 of which were assassinated. The youngest person to become president was Theodore Roosevelt at the age of 42. John F. Kennedy was the youngest elected president at 43. The oldest was Donald Trump at the age of 70. Ronald Reagan was the oldest ever in office, 77 years and 349 days old at the end of his second term. The average age of the president is 55 years and 6 months. Dying at the age of 93 years and 165 days, Gerald Ford was the longest living president. At 46, John F. Kennedy was the youngest to die. As of May 2017, George Bush Sr. is the oldest living president at the age of 92. Here are all the presidents John Hancock's, and just for fun, here's John Hancock's John Hancock. On religion, there have been 11 Episcopalians, 8 Presbyterians, 4 Unitarians, 4 Baptists, 4 Methodists, 2 Quakers, 2 Disciples of Christ, 2 Dutch Reformed, 2 unspecified Protestants, 2 undisclosed Christians, although Lincoln's private beliefs are up for debate, 1 Congregationalist, 1 Roman Catholic, and 1 Deist, meaning the belief of a God who created the universe but one that hasn't interfered with it since. On political parties, George Washington was the only president without a political party. There was 1 Federalist, 4 Democratic Republicans, 4 Whigs, 1 Independent Democrat. Andrew Johnson was a National Unionist but also a Democrat, of which there were 15 presidents. There have been 19 Republican presidents, and between Democrats and Republicans, the longest consecutive streak is 4 Republican presidents in a row. Donald Trump may be the 45th president, but he is only the 44th person to be president. Grover Cleveland is the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, making him both the 22nd and the 24th president. 44 people, 45 presidencies. John Adams and John Quincy Adams, and George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush are the only sets of fathers and sons who have been president. Benjamin Harrison was the grandson of short-lived William Henry Harrison. Here are the presidents arranged in order of height. At 6'4", Abraham Lincoln was the tallest. That top hat didn't help. James Madison was the shortest at 5'4". The longest term was Franklin D. Roosevelt, lasting 12 years from 1933 to 1945, obviously before they confined it to 2 4-year terms. As a side note, an odd coincidence is how Roosevelt and Adolf Hitler came to power within just over a month of each other, and they both died within a few weeks of each other. The shortest term was William Henry Harrison's 31 days in 1841. He interestingly gave the longest inaugural speech. These presidents have owned slaves while they were in office. These presidents owned slaves before being in office. These are the presidents who have served in the armed forces, Theodore Roosevelt being the only president to have received the Medal of Honor. John Tyler was the first vice president to become president, James Buchanan was the only bachelor to be president, Dwight D. Eisenhower was the first president of all 50 states, and Richard Nixon was the first president to visit all 50 states. As of the 20th of May 2017, Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton were the only presidents to be impeached, although this may change very shortly, but they were both acquitted. The only president to resign was Richard Nixon following the Watergate scandal. Gerald Ford was the only president to have not been elected by the Electoral College as president or vice president. Presidents who won the Electoral College vote but lost the popular vote were John Quincy Adams, Rutherford B. Hayes, Benjamin Harrison, George W. Bush and Donald Trump. And the only modern president to not release information about their taxes... No, I'm not going to touch that. In rankings, the presidents that tend to come to the top of the list in no particular order: Franklin D. Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. The worst presidents tend to be seen as Franklin Pierce, Warren G. Harding, James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson and William Henry Harrison. Many, many presidents, many, many people, many, many more still to come. Thanks for watching. Okay, now for the update. I had been planning on doing the Russian Revolution for my next video, but the timing of projects leading up to my feature week on Channel Awesome meant that I didn't have time to complete the illustrations in time, so I wrote this video so I could recycle my previous artwork. At least I'm honest. The first few months of 2017 have been taken up with writing my next book, Manny Does Revolutionary Ireland, 1916 to 1923. That'll be out in autumn this year, and I'll keep you all up to date with that. I will complete the Russian Revolution video during the summer, this being 100 years after the tumultuous times. And after that, provided nothing unexpected happens, I can confirm that the following video will be the Vietnam War. Finally, says you. It has been the most hotly requested video and I've been teasing it for years now. Don't worry, I listen. That should be out sometime before the end of 2017 and I really look forward to it. Because, as most of you well know, I don't upload too often. I choose quality over quantity for the most part, so I take my time. Other projects have been keeping me busy too. I'm looking forward to directing a stage production of Blackadder Goes Forth, adapted by Fergal Lonergan, with Angrianan Youth Theatre for the Errigal Arts Festival, based on the classic British sitcom based during World War I. It'll be in Angrianan Theatre, Letterkenny, 6th, 7th, 8th of July, 2017. Hard to believe that this time last year I played a gig for the cast and crew of Star Wars The Last Jedi when they were here shooting in Donegal. Me and my bra Niall McDonough had great fun entertaining Ryan Johnson, Daisy Ridley and the wonderful team. And I saw the Millennium Falcon. Big shout out to Skull Owen Bastia, to whom I gave a history talk about weapons and warfare. They all say hello.
Hello YouTube from Skull Owen Bastia, Carrie Garrett.
Hopefully that gives you an idea as to how busy I can be between videos. Thank you for all of the ongoing support for the 3.5 years I've been making them. Be sure to subscribe. As of now, I have over 130,000 subscribers and that is amazing. Thank you so much. You can support new videos by pledging on Patreon. $1 per video from every subscriber would be one hell of an incentive to keep them coming sooner rather than later. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to keep up to date with my historical and not so historical antics. Thank you.